Welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caleb Teskey, and today I am joined by big homie Wes Turner from Morrisville, Vermont here. Thank you for being here with me, Wes.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me.
This is a super pleasure, man. You were my first friend when I moved to Morrisville.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I didn't know my other homie was right up the road, or you would have been second, but
All right. Shout out, man.
Before we get into anything, would you mind sharing your 5-minute life story with us here, please?
Yeah, totally, man. So, I'm a rapper, producer from Vermont. I was originally born in Texas, but I've been up here since I was about 4 or 5 years old. Moved to the Stowe area, and then since then, been in Mo Vegas. Lived down in Colorado for a year, and it was super dope, experiencing the West a little bit. Didn't quite go to the coast. I'm still hoping to make it out there. But yeah, I've just been grinding on music for most of my life. I started writing when I was about 10, 11 years old and record.
You're early bloomer there, Wes.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it was just kind of like chilling with the homies, and we started a little rap group called Glock Dollar, when you're 11 old and you're trying to get in the rap game and you're trying to come up with a catchy name.
You had a whole crew of other friends like your same age, and you guys had like a young hip hop crew there, huh?
Yeah, so there were like 4 or 5 of us, and we never recorded anything. We just kind of wrote maybe like 3/4 of a song, and that was pretty much it for the rap group. It didn't go the distance, but
Glock Dollar didn't make it.
no, that was my introduction though, and I'm still good friends with all those homies. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, the Mo Vegas crew, baby.
Cool. What were you doing out in Colorado?
Yeah, so basically I was just living in Morrisville up until I was like 21 years old, and just my homeboy Hoover, Connor Polo, shout out. He convinced me to move out there, just telling me it was the greatest place on earth. You know what I mean?
I like that kid. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, oh hell yeah, he's all right. And then yeah, he convinced me it was the greatest place on earth, and I was like stuck in Morrisville, feeling like nothing was happening. And that was that point where it's I'd been in Morrisville and Vermont since I was like 4 to about 21 years old. So I just really felt like I had to get out and see something new. I didn't know what it was, but that just seemed like a good opportunity. And I wasn't really digging the living situation I was in, so it just kind of called me. I was like, word, you know what? Packed my things. And within a month or two, sent it out there, man. And I was just like washing dishes and cooking in kitchens and stuff just to make ends meet, living it up, man.
You skier at all? Snowboarder?
No, I don't really do any winter activities like that.
Hmm.
Even out there, I was working on the music. I was getting more into my like engineering, so recording myself and doing some self production. Some of that music you can still find on SoundCloud. And
keep going. Yeah, sure.
it was interesting though, like wanting to do hip hop, wanting to rap, and then being in Colorado, I kind of found that they had more of an electronic niche. Like the music out there was kind of like Red Rocks vibes, turning up light shows. And I said I didn't really have the opportunity, or didn't feel like I had the opportunity to do too much out there. I talked to people, but it was just like they were all focused on a whole different genre. Now I've kind of like experimented more with even house music and stuff like that, but at that point I was just basically trying to rap.
Hard to rap with the dubstep beat.
Hey, I mean, people do it, man, but yeah, it wasn't my vibe and still isn't really.
I got into a little bit of the electronic, like jungle. I used to listen to some jungle way back when, or like a little bit of like whatever would probably be considered like traditional techno music. But like then it just started, as soon as the drum and bass started coming, boy, I can't listen to that shit at all. It hurts my brain.
Yeah, so I've actually been for a cold these past couple of days, and I've been working like, super bored in the stew. Can't really record anything because I'm all nasally and shit. So I've been taking these old tracks, some is the homie Dizzy, and like I'll take the acapellas, and I've been throwing some synth and like drum breaks over it, dude. God, I feel like it got something going there, man.
Yo, the jungle was nice because they would use a lot of hip hop samples. Because I feel like jungle music was basically the BPMs where you would just take a hip hop song and like double it, like put it up at like 160 instead of 80, put an amen break on there and it slap. And they had a lot of hip hop samples. And I think that's what got me with that one because I'm really not a huge fan of electronic music.
No,
What,
I get.
huh?
Oh, I get that. I get. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask you about so you came back from Colorado, you spent a year out there, and that must have been really when you started hitting it hard here in Vermont, huh?
Yeah, man.
Because
So
how
basically,
old are you now, Wes?
27.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, when I was in Colorado, I was talking to the homie Dizzy back here, the homie Faded Flow, and they were getting, really involved with this homie Colby Stilts in Stilts Gang. I don't know if you've heard of that or
I
like are
have.
from. Yeah, so this was like when I was in Colorado. That was kind of before I really got affiliated with Stilts Gang, and we were trading tracks back and forth and stuff, and had a couple things going. And they, yo, if you want to come back in October and perform, you know, there's an opportunity for you to do so. And that ended up being a Capadonna show, also put on by Joseph Smith. I don't know what his company's name is, but yeah, that was my first show. I was opening for Capadonna with Stilts
What?
Gang. We performed a couple songs. Yeah, man, it was wild. It was at like this haunted house, little festival thing. Some like, the sticks of Vermont. Like, I don't even know, can't remember where.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
pretty
So,
killer first gig, man.
oh, dude, it was stellar. I forgot 2 out of 3 songs completely. I just like ended up freestyling because I was like, oh wow. The number of times I jumped around my room in Colorado rehearsing those joints, I still like, didn't get it. But also a first time being in front of people, you feel like a little anxious too.
Oh, for sure. I always would get butterflies before any kind of comedy show, or we used to do jazz band festivals in high school. I just get wicked nervous, really bad.
Yeah. So basically, they just had opportunity for me here. Like Colby, shout out Colby, like kind of teaching me the ropes and getting me on to tons of gigs with the homies. Yeah, we ran it up for probably like 2.5 years or something like that. And then things kind of tapered off and COVID hit. But yeah, that was kind of the beginning. And they were just like welcoming me with open arms to join the clique. You know what I mean? Join the collective.
Hmm. He sounds like a nice guy. I believe we chatted a couple of times briefly. Yeah. Wasn't he also DJing weddings and stuff? Was that him?
Oh yeah, no, he does lots of weddings. Yeah, he's been kind of teaching me how to do wedding DJing and definitely taught me a bunch of basic kind of DJ techniques for transitions.
I was gonna say, is that how? Because I know you started like I come check you out at Moog's. Like he's the one that got you into DJing.
Yeah, man, at least like live DJing. I kind of started messing with it when I was doing radio DJing, but that's a whole different
Hmm.
style. That's more like you curate a playlist and then
Hmm.
let it roll and kind of talk and stuff. But event DJing is like you're really trying to read the room and pick a vibe that's gonna keep the party going. You know what I mean?
I do,
And then
yeah.
manage those records in a way that it sounds like just clean and on
Yeah.
point. You know?
At weddings, you can't be fucking around. You got to keep that shit tight. Everyone's got to be happy. You got to cut it when the bride wants to talk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've only done a couple of like wedding events, and luckily they're all for the homies, so it's pretty low pressure, and they kind of knew they're oh, it's big homie West. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a nice way to break into the industry, really, if that's something you're thinking about doing. Because, dude, you could definitely make real nice money DJing at weddings.
Yeah, dude. No, that's exactly kind of where my head's at too, trying to build this like music company I have. West Productions I started 2 years ago, and that's what everything's under. West worth every second. Shout out the homie 2P gave that to me. But
Nice.
trying to put together these different plays to create revenue, you know what I mean, for my company. And weddings is definitely up there. Any sort of DJing event too, if anyone's trying to look for a way to get in the game and kind of get to a little bag.
Hmm. And I love the fact that you'll like sometimes at Moog's, you'll just grab a mic and just slap some beats on and rap a little bit. Like you definitely the people that come out to see you, they fucking love you, man. You've got
Oh,
like
hell
a killer rapport, especially in this area. You got a great stage presence. You got a great voice when you're not all fucking congested. But yeah, it seems like you really know how to like work a crowd and people like you. And that's, dude, a lot of, entertainment is just that, you can figure the rest out later.
yeah, right. Yeah, so that's the thing, man. Doing so many events and just kind of meeting all these people around Lamoille County. Yeah, it's awesome. They come out and support, and we rock. We just turn up. They definitely like, they'll egg me on and be like, "Yo, like, when are you gonna get up there and spit something?" It's like, all right, like, kind of let it get to that point. Usually, it's around like midnight or something when everyone's feeling loose. Say, all right, y'all ready to turn up? And then, I don't know. I just really appreciate that energy too, and having people push me in that direction. Otherwise, I could just do my thing, and I might throw a song here or there, but when people are asking for it, it's like, how you gonna tell them no?
Dude, and there's that one lady that always comes to Moog. She must be pushing 60, man. And she's always just coming out and like requesting like Wu-Tang songs and shit. I love that lady. I don't remember her fucking name, but she's always there showing you love.
Trish, shout out
Trish?
Trish.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a nice crowd. Like, you don't expect to see a lot of older folks at hip hop shows, and you got some of them. That guy who does the paintings, all the art, he's always floating around. When you're playing music. What is that guy's name? I always forget his name.
So that's Keith Mahu.
There we
I don't know
go.
if I name right, but yeah, man, he's such a talented artist.
Hmm.
And those pieces he has up, I think you own one of his pieces, don't you?
I bought it out the bathroom in Moog's. I was just taking a piss and staring at it. I was like, I take it. Yeah,
Yeah,
super
man.
nice guy.
Well, that's what's cool. It's like just meeting all these people. And I like this year, I've met so many artists, not just musicians, but, painters like Green Door Studio, making our way out there and checking out shows. And whether it's, an art gallery or, that hip hop showcase that Mav just put on. It's
That
been
was
sweet,
great,
man.
man.
Just tapping in with all these different people. And like, I definitely gather a lot of inspiration from that, seeing people that are talented at their craft, and
Mm.
I'm watching print podcast interviews. I'm like, damn, here's my boy in the
Mm.
pocket.
Killing it.
Yeah.
In 2018, actually, I you were quoted in an interview with Vermont Hip Hop, and you said one of your goals in 2019 was to build relationships with more venue owners in the area to continue momentum. And you also said one thing that the Mo Vegas scene needs in order to grow would be a consistent lineup of shows, and also uh, a local compilation mixtape series. And it seems like you've really, boy, in just a few years, it seems like you've come a long way in sort of reaching those goals.
Yeah, man. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I forgot about even saying any of that. You
Well,
really pulled.
I imagine that was a Justin Bolin interview.
Damn. Yeah. Well, it's like, I definitely, that's been the vision, man, since the beginning. Wanting to put on more events and definitely that mixtape, man. I was scheming on that for a while, and like we just released History in the Making Volume 1, hosted by DJ TKO. You know what I mean? Like that's just wild, bro. That's wild.
I was
I
trying
know
to
he's
save that for later. I didn't mean to sneak that in yet, because I wanted to ask you about sort of meeting with some of these venues and how you sort of approach them. This is something I've heard a lot of guys talk about. Like they don't know how to kind of sell a
yeah,
show. And honestly, like my approach when I was doing comedy shows, it was like, well, I'll go into a business that I like or a bar, and I'll be like, hey, do you guys want to do this? Like, how do you approach these guys, and and maybe sort of raise money for shows if you need to?
yeah, yeah, man. So, I think it's important to build relationships with people outside of business. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna go support their business and just check it out and get familiar. And then, once like for example, once I knew the owner Paul at what was Tacos and Taps Bar, which is now Oasis Cafe Bar, you kind of build up that repertoire or whatever, where they know you're doing the hip hop thing, they know you're a musician. I popped out to a couple open mics. That's actually a big thing right there, man. That's what I feel like really set me up for success was hitting open mics at these venues, you know, popping out, being like, yeah, I do this for real. I'm not just like talking about, you know, rapping.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, that kind of opens up the opportunity to, you know, you showcase your skill and then, okay, you're legit. We want to have you. It's the same with any musician, you know, whether it's hip hop or not. But yeah, you know, it's also about networking with people, other artists as well. And I definitely try to share as much opportunity as possible with people. And, you know, people tend to kind of turn around and give me a hand too, whether that's Meeks, you know, pulling together those Red Square shows and that July 4th show down at North Beach in Burlington. You know, it's like we collaborating and he plugged those up for me and the homie Sam and the homie Young Thayer up in here, you know.
Word up to there. Yo, tell
Yeah.
me about your relationship with Sam, man. It seems like you guys are super tight, and I think Sam is just a really nice touch. It's always a nice touch to have a bass player, right?
Yeah, dude, Sam's the man, bro. I can't say that enough times. Just such a, like, you know, he's a humble, just chill human being. And that's huge, dude. You know, I gotta have people around me whose energy is uplifting and positive. I can't be around, you know, people that are vamping your energy and like negativity or just like, you know. So he's one of those dudes where I always keep him close. We're always chilling in the studio. Even today, I was showing him some of those tunes I was telling you about working on, kind of like remixes, you know, and like he would just come over and kick it. Well, like, you know, even just watch TV, make some dank grub or something. And then, yeah, you know, a lot of the times I'll be, yo, I got this track I'm working on. I think that needs this extra flair, it needs some pizzazz, it needs some like authentic, you know, musicianship, which a lot of times when I'm jamming up beats, you know, I have like some basic understanding of what I'm doing, but a lot of it's like based on just kind of how it makes me feel. And, you know, the small things that I do have control of that can align. But yeah, getting someone that's just so like multifaceted and can fit into anything, you know what I mean, man? Like the homie can literally pop up, you'd be, oh, this is the, you know, the key we're working in. You're like, oh, word, cool. And like throw down some shit, you'll be like, God damn, man. Like, you know, that's just like an understanding of music I don't have. So to see someone like that and to have someone close to me like that in the studio and we're just like, you know, working and all that, it's just like, you know, it's huge, bro. It's huge.
What does he live right down the road, and you can just call him up? He's like, I'll be over in 2 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Something like that.
That's fucking sick. I see.
Yeah.
I used to do this with when. Well, sorry to cut you off there. When I was making beats, I used to sometimes do this with Matt Scott, man, with Elder Orange, and shout outs galore today.
Yeah.
I would take a beat and like sometimes when you're cutting up samples and shit, the way that the bass line gets rearranged sounds weird, you know, when it gets all mixed up. And then so sometimes I would just slap a filter on it, just filter out the whole bottom end of the sample, and then send it over to Matt, and he would lace some kind of dope bass line on there that went really nice with it. He's one of those dudes too, where he doesn't need to know like what key it's in. He just knows as soon as it starts playing. Even if I've tuned the sample fucking however different many ways, he just like listen to it for a minute and then he's like, "Yep, I got it." And that's so handy, man. It gives I feel like it really gives hip hop, especially like a new flavor, you know? It's like adding Questlove instead of using an 808 kit.
Oh, big time, man. Yeah, like, you know, kind of like a lot of really great rappers have, or not really the rappers, but a lot of great producers have brought in musicians to help them fill out production too. You know, Dr. Dre, like one of the homies recently was telling me Nipsey Hussle, a lot of his producers would like, you know, kind of mix with live instrumentation. And it just kind of adds this vibe that, you know, it sounds more familiar to a listener almost than like the electronic or like kind of mashing stuff together where it's just all digital, you know?
And I do. And I maybe I'm gonna sound old here, but I do like the sound of like real fucking instruments. You know what I mean? Like the Roots, I think is one of the best hip hop shows I've ever seen. Man, they always got the band out there, and Black Thought just killing it all the time for like 30 years straight here. And I like that. You know, it's more energetic. Um, you know, I like watching traditional hip hop shows too, like a DJ, but like having a band, it just like slaps extra hard, and I really like that.
Yeah, man. Well, that's what I love having that too. You know, when we got the homie Sam Ginn on the bass on stage, ripping it up as I'm rapping. And it's just like this whole other piece to the show. You know, a lot of times too, I'll just be like, you know, I'll be doing my thing, spitting, and I like see the crowd just watching Sam as he's like shredding some solo or something. And I'm like, you know, word, like turn up. That's what we're here for. You know what I mean? And then afterwards, I was like, bro, I've never seen, you know, a rapper with a live bass before. And it's like, yeah, man. And, you know, I love to fill out more of a band, but it's like, it's so many moving pieces. It's so difficult to kind of, it's, you know, to keep that going, to keep it
Get
consistent.
everybody in one place at the same time.
Yeah, we've done that before, but it just kind of ends up being like way too much. And, you know, as an individual too, as an artist, it's like there's ebbs and flows to it. You know, I even have my stuff where I'm like, you know, to keep it that consistently be locked into one thing. It's kind of nice because we can all like with what we're doing right now, we can all kind of like walk away for a sec and we always have like the tracks to reference back to and we just kind of get right back to it like riding a bike. You know, it's really simple and it's like quick, you know what I mean? It's not like a ton of rehearsals and you know, we stay pretty familiar with that with the
That
music.
that is handy. Hell yeah. Um, so now talk a little bit about your production because I know you've been working on learning how to make beats. It sounds like also from this interview you've kind of taught yourself a lot of that shit. How's that journey been going?
Yeah, that's been a fun one, man. You know, it was pretty recently after, you know, starting to first record back when I was about like 18 years old. So I just gotta clear my throat. And and you know, so I started doing that, like kind of like rapping, got tired of YouTube beats, started to experiment with production, and I realized that that was just like such a, you know, vast, it's like, you know, it's really just this rabbit hole that once you start getting into, it never ends. And still trying to focus on rap, you know, I just try to make kind of quick, clean sounding production, you know, not maybe not necessarily clean as in like really clear or anything, but I've been really tending to add a lot more texture and stuff, kind of experiment. But yeah, it's been a long process of just, you know, some days you just want to bounce your head off the beat pad and other days you're like, oh, I struck gold and this is fire. But recently I really feel like I've locked in to this kind of flow where I have like a workflow that really works for me, whether it's starting with, you know, a really simple drum loop, or I just, you know, if I have some sort of melody that's working, if I have an idea, I'll roll with that. But yeah, you know, it's just been tons of experimenting and YouTube videos to get to
Okay.
this point.
Yeah, I spent I think about it was almost 10 years I think making beats and like honestly until I had to go back. Like my friend showed me the basics and I fucked around for a couple years. And then I was like, all right, if I'm gonna like do this seriously, I just pulled up the manual for Reason and it's like 300 or 400 pages. And I just started reading through from the beginning and learning all the hotkeys and like because really like the workflow I thought was the most important part. Like learning how to make a beat that sucks in like half an hour as opposed to a beat that sucks in 8 hours. You know, it's like so when you fuck up, you're fucking up faster. You're not wasting your whole night fucking around with some sample that's not going to end up working or whatever. And just that was so handy because you're doing the same things all the time. You're setting up your rack and fucking picking out your synths and all that, all the effects and whatever. And you know, setting up templates was really helpful and just streamlining the workflow so that you know I can focus more on fucking with the music.
Yeah, well, that's what I find too, man. You know, and that's been part of the process is figuring out something that works for me. When I first started making beats, I did it all like in a DAW. I think it was like I just used GarageBand and I would try to chop loops up and sequence them. And you know, that worked for a while, kind of doing it that way. It was cool. But then I started getting more into hardware and I started messing with the Machine MK3, and that was like all right, but that was still plugged into a DAW. So I'm constantly like clicking around on a computer. And that's kind of like what my work's been like these past couple of days doing these like remix joints. But you know, once I started getting my hands on like the MPC, that's been
Is
a
that what you got
complete
now?
man. Yeah, because that's all just like, you know, I'll load up samples onto the SD card. I can take this piece of hardware and like take it anywhere, built in speaker. and just really, enjoy the process and enjoy, chopping and hitting the pads and clicking buttons. And, it's kind of like, it's a nice line between, analog hardware, just like the really, like old, like prehistoric stuff. And also the, more current technology with the touch screen and, different folders that you can navigate. It's just been so fire, man.
The big screen that they put on the new MPCs was a big help because they used to just have that tiny little like this that it was fucking impossible. I hate that was that's what drove me nuts. But also I bet it's tight to be able to just go outside and like make a beat on the porch.
Oh, 100%, man. That's the vibe all summer long. And that's the thing. Sometimes, like, it can feel limiting if, like, oh, I got to go sit in the studio and, it's the same environment constantly. It gets hard to create and be really inspired. I like to go and stuff, like, see things or, sit outside on a beautiful day and make just like the dopest boom bap beat, that good vibe, just good feeling. And you're like, yeah, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now.
Hell yeah. Um, yeah, and then the mixing was a whole other can of worms. So it's like, dude, I spent so much time just learning how to make a beat that sounded halfway decent, and then it's like, oh yeah, now the mixing. It's like, dude, this is another like fucking 3 years of reading stuff here, and it's still some of that stuff doesn't make sense. But a lot of knob spinning and just fuck, what does this do and what does that do and it's really a lot, dude. It's when I first started trying to make beats, I almost just immediately gave up because it was overwhelming looking at all the options and the drop down menus and the effects and the different instruments. I was just like, where do you even fucking begin with this? You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's honestly where I'm still, struggling to really get to a place where I'm happy with all my mixes. For example, my album that's coming out next year, I'm having that mixed and mastered by the homie Sky Splitter Inc. out in Burlington. Just because it's like, I really like to work with people I trust with the experience necessary. And I've been working with Matt Scott a lot more recently too. He did Bad Man for me. That's an unreleased track I performed a few times.
Matt's
But it's
killing it in the studio lately.
Yeah, man. And it's just like that's the part of it that's kind of a little more daunting for me. I'll mix a song once, twice, three times. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm done. I almost have just like completely washed my hands of like mixing and mastering. I'll still like, mess around for a nice demo or something, but nah, bro, I just can't even do that anymore.
It is a lot, dude, honestly. And Zach, does a bang up job. I mean, I feel like he's doing work for a ton of people over there. And I've never heard him put out well, I don't know. Maybe when we first met, I'd heard some stuff that was what I don't even know. I can't remember a single mix he's put out that didn't sound really crisp, man. He's also just been killing it.
Well, I mean, honestly, bro, I've sent him some pretty rough recordings and he's made really solid work out. Like Plugged In was done by him. I believe that was my first music video with my dogs. I still perform that 6 years later. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
and that's the point of going to a professional engineer and having them help you with that. It's like long term, you're going to want that quality. I can't tell you the number of times I recorded a song, released it, gone to perform it, sounds all right live. And then years later, you're like, oh, damn, like, what was that? You know what I mean? Which is like, as you grow, you constantly grow and learn. But you know what I mean? Like with having a professional or someone that has experience in certain fields that you might not, it's just so good to get them in your corner. You know what I mean?
And you definitely you got to be careful with your sound system too, because I've seen, especially this happened to a couple dubstep guys that I know. They show up with these super rough mixes or totally unmixed shit. And then you'll have one song that's down here. So they crank the fucking volume up. And then the next song comes on and it's up here and it fucking blows your ears out or the speaker, so it's nice to have that, definitely like that consistent output when you're, at the final product.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. For training grounds at open mic, it's that same type of scenario where you're getting all these different files and their different loudnesses, and you're trying to fix things, but it does get to like, sometimes it's really difficult to gain up everything to have to gain it back down for the next song too. You know what I mean? it gets kind of messy. That's why I try to make it as simple as possible. And then I have those really consistent live performance tracks, you know, with no lead vocals on them.
You know what I found was a super helpful tip that my buddy Walt gave me was to do, he called it subtractive mixing. So like a lot of amateurs, I guess, will just go in and immediately start boosting shit that's not loud enough and turning stuff up. And one thing that he told me to try was to, instead of like turning up the stuff that's not loud enough, he's like, turn down the stuff that's too loud. So put all your EQs on first, get rid of all the noise and the bullshit that's in there. And then you're not going to have to like jack, you get much smoother output at the end. And that was a super helpful tip for me anyway.
Well, that's huge, man. Because honestly, like that's one of the biggest things with mixing. Less is more. Like if you start with like a decent sound at least, and you have an idea what you're trying to do, keeping it simple is typically better. Once you have to do too much, and once you add too much, I just feel like it kind of gets messed up.
Especially if you're going to lace vocals over, like I was mostly just making beats as instrumentals. So I would mix a nice full mix, but like, especially if you're going to have a rapper on there, you can't come in with this mix. You got to carve out sort of that range where like a male vocal would sit in the frequency spectrum. You can't just like come in with a nice like full mix and expect to drop a voice in there, which is another mistake I see some folks making, hearing them making, because if you don't leave room for the vocals, it's just gonna sound fucking washed out and shitty.
Yeah, that's why honestly I usually start beats on the simpler side. And for a lot of my own production, like the stuff that I produce and then rap on myself, usually won't be much more than a drum loop and a dope melody. I'll maybe start writing tracks and vocals to that. Unless I, made the decision where I'm like, oh, this is, an 808 type of track, or maybe I had a bass vibe I was digging. That's when, I'll get the homie Sam Ginn and say, all right, bro, typically I try to wait till I at least have like a song or like a solid, idea going. So it's not like, oh, come track a bass line that we're never going to hear again. You know what I mean? There's, I've done enough time point where it's, I try to be a little bit more, selective. I'm like, okay, we're actually going to do something with this. So let's hit it.
Sam, come over and watch me fuck off for 2 hours and struggle with this.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, boy. What are you using for software? You said you got the MPC. Are you just using the MPC software? Do you use anything for mixing software?
Yeah, so I actually haven't touched the MPC software at all, but I do use Logic Pro X.
Okay.
I've been wanting to upgrade to possibly like, get Ableton or even Pro Tools, but I just find that Logic does the job and it, is affordable. So, and then, like I said, I'm not really doing any finishing, mixing, or mastering in it.
Right.
I really do send that off to engineers to have them kind of, take care of it in the studio. It's mostly just for recording vocals, cutting some tracks, getting the arrangement ideas going. You know what I mean?
Maybe I could slap a mix on one just for fun one day and see what it sounds like.
Bro, that'd be tight.
I'll do it right now when I come over after this interview.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if you remember this track. It was called Pieces. It's that sample, a million little pieces. You know what I mean? In the chorus, I like cut some vocals to it and I sent you it like a long, long time ago, BC, before COVID.
I don't remember. That was a fucking lifetime ago, buddy.
Yeah, so I popped that open like I think yesterday, and I muted your beat. No disrespect, no disrespect. And then I went back and like reproduced that. So when you pop over later, I'll show you what that is.
Oh, is that the song you used one of my beats for on the way back, the Spliff and Brew?
It was made in that same period of time, okay. But now all the stuff kind of like remixing is unreleased. So maybe end up releasing it or something, but we'll see. Right now, I've just been having fun, locked in the stew, trying to keep busy, trying to keep it fresh,
I'd like to ask you, you remember that time we were hanging out at Nick, Nick's at LaRoe. Shout out to Nick too. And there was a bunch of guys there. I noticed they were at the Green Door Studio the other night. Who are the? I feel like one of them is Breeze or something.
Yeah,
those kids seem cool.
yeah, and then Shorty Bang, man.
Is he
Yeah,
the
those are,
wheelchair guy?
yeah, yep.
Okay, cool. Boy, he kills it too.
Yeah, shout out Street Religion, man. They've been
Mm.
coming out there killing it. You know, that's what I mean. It's just awesome to see people like in their bag, you know, really talented MCs. That's what I love about those shows at Green Doors. I get to go and, you know, even get down in the freestyle cipher, you know, literally be humbled by humble, you know, shout out the homie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's important to constantly be surrounding yourself with other people who are talented in their craft. You know what I mean? And if it's music, that's even better because then you get to learn something that you can apply to your own shit, you know?
Hmm. That was a great show over there, man. I'm surprised how well that went off considering how fucking cold it was.
Yeah, right.
Hmm. And you always got a good DJ. You know, when Kyle's in the building, you're gonna have great fucking music all night.
Yo, facts, man. I swear, he's got to be the best DJ in Burlington. I don't think it gets better than that.
How about in Vermont? I'm gonna throw the whole state out there. In terms of hip hop, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't see anybody doing
yeah,
it like
right.
Kyle right now.
No, it's facts, man. Even I DJ, and I'm like, yeah, no, Kyle can have that.
You coming for that number one spot or what?
Shit, maybe someday, man. Maybe someday.
I like
I'm
how
still
you bring. I like how you bring a blend of skills though. It's like you can entertain a crowd by playing music. You can rap. You're making some beats. You're putting on a ton of. It looks like lately you've put a ton of shows on.
yeah, man. Definitely been a busy year. I think we did like must have been like 26 plus shows this year.
Awesome.
And that's DJ events, has been hip hop showcases. We had the Get Live rap contest, you know, training grounds, hip hop open mic. Dude, yeah, it's been busy, man. It's definitely been wild.
How about that contest? We should do that again because that was another one. And I wanted to just shout out to all the cannabis companies that threw down sponsorship money for that because that dude, I really thought that was kind of a goof. I was like, I'll put you in a group with these guys and see if we can do a show. And like 80% of them are like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, that
You
was
know?
clutch. Thank you for like, you know, just giving me the opportunity, opening that door. And I was, you know, we were fortunate that, you know, all those companies were down. They show that they love hip hop. They appreciate what we're doing here for the culture. And that's the thing, man. We're just getting started. So I would love to do another Get Live rap contest.
And you
Oh,
know, considering how broke all these companies are right now, not to say they're all broke, but a lot of people are just bleeding money. I was amazed that we managed to put that together. Dude, a $500 first prize for a rap contest, like that's fucking incredible.
straight up, man. I wish I could have competed.
Mm. Were you off? Was that a conflict of interest or?
Yeah, I just kind of made that decision. You know, I did get one song off, just I had to turn up. You know what I mean? I wanted, but you know, I like it wasn't going to be me. I wasn't going to let that happen, man. That would have just been whack.
You
You
don't
know,
want
I
the
had to,
crowd think it's rigged up.
right? Yeah. Congratulations, everyone. Y'all killed it, but I win. Peace. Like, go home.
And the money goes to me. Gotta go.
Yeah, you know, just like it was just such an awesome opportunity, man, to get all those people, all those MCs in the building, all those supporters of hip hop, all the people I've met, like from that point onward, that you know they just see what we're doing out here in Morrisville, Vermont, out of all places, you know, and to have all that support and to have people like you know messing with us like that means so much.
I'm guessing that's probably one of the busiest nights Paul's had over there. It looked fucking packed.
Yeah, I think so, man. That's like you know that's what I'm trying to do every single event. I'm trying to have those blowout events. I'm trying to talk about building relationships, man. I'm trying to make these venues money, bro. The same way that you know we want to get paid as artists. It's really just a business that we're all in together at the end of the day, you know?
Mm. True story, my friend. That's why I don't mind hooking you up, dude. And that was totally on a whim. I'm so glad that worked out, dude. I think people saw that too, and they're taking note. Like, and then Mav was all pumped up to put on this show at Green Door, and you know that shit
Yeah,
went.
and you got
Sorry.
sponsored. Oh, sweet. that worked out too. We got sponsors for that, man. You know, it's giving these cannabis companies an opportunity to, you know, get a little spotlight on their name, brand awareness, bro. You know, it's important. Yeah, Forbins, shout out.
Winooski Organics.
Oh, where?
No, this is Forbins, but Winooski Organics is sponsored a bunch. I know King James there, Jimmy Darrow. I feel like maybe Chris Morrock there at the Cannabis Collective. Maybe Matt Lindemer threw in a little from Lamoille County. I can't remember. Meredith Mann might have. I don't know. There was like 8 people that helped out with that show, and that was fucking unbelievable. Really, really good stuff. Dude, that's the shit that like I'm all about, dude. Bringing people together, And then we got the Green Door thing. It's tight. You got an art gallery like right on the other side of the wall from the best DJ in the state and a bunch of sick rappers. We got great hosts. Like you really can't beat. Scotty was making cheeseburgers at 2 a.m.
I know, bro. I totally forgot to grab one of those.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
had 3.
Well, that's the thing, dude. So, that's what feels so great. I feel like, Vermont hip hop is alive and well. People are even more together right now than, I feel like anyone's ever been. We're all working together to create something here, and it's great.
Watching it build has been kind of crazy. It's like when we were kids, like there was no hip hop scene in Vermont, really. It was Justin Boland rapping in the woods at parties. And, a couple like the Aztecs or whatever, and what's those other guys? I can't remember their fucking names, but it was slim pickings out here. And now just seeing everybody trying to get in there, it's great to see, man.
Oh, big time, man. That's kind of the thing I think about too. Like when I was, 15 years old or something, you're going on Facebook, you're seeing these ads for the game, putting on some sort of like rap like thing. You show up, you spit, and you like could potentially get signed or get like money or something. And you're like looking at that, like, damn, that's all happening in California. It's happening in New York. So that's kind of like where my vision's at. Maybe this will be quoted in a couple years too, but I would love to bring like a record label here, create something for Vermont artists, something sustainable, sustainability, bro. We're in Vermont.
I like it.
Trying to make something happen where, I can just like, I want to be able to give opportunity that I was looking for. You know what I mean? Like here I am, 27 years old with this game I could give to people. It'd be like, it could change everything. You know what I mean?
Right. You just never know who you're going to meet or which show's going to pop off or when you'll get cancel cultured or whatever.
Please let me make some money first, bro. Shit.
You can cancel me right after the fucking check hits my bank account.
Yeah.
I see your sister's always coming out to shows too, man. Taking videos and stuff for you. What's that like to have her there supporting? And do you ever get nervous when you're performing in front of your family?
Yeah, man, I never get nervous performing in front of my family because they're here when I'm rehearsing. You know what I mean? So they've heard it all. They've been with me. They've seen the growth. They've heard, my worst music. So it's only getting better and getting more like I'm only more aware of what I'm actually saying and, what I'm trying to put across. But yeah, shout out Alexis, man. She's done most of those posters for me this year. So that's like, over 24 posters, flyers, cover art.
Stickers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, stickers, the logo.
Didn't you do those South Park looking stickers?
Yeah, man. Yep, the South Parks.
That's
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's just another example, bro, of bringing someone on board that knows more than you about something. You know what I mean? And then boom.
Absolutely, man. What about your video making crew? Would you like to shout any of those guys out? I love that video you did with all the fucking smoke grenades and shit. That was super cool.
Yeah, man. So I've worked with a couple really talented videographers. My first one was done by Miles Goad over at DVP Cinematography. He's been working with Matt Vinci recently. And so Miles did Plugged In. Him and Matt teamed up for Answers on YouTube. All these videos you can find on YouTube. And then recently I've done 2 smoke bomb videos. The first one was Why Wait? That was filmed and edited by the homie Spacey Jones. Shout out to Astronaut. And then that was also produced by my homie JG Productions over in Stowe. So yeah, we got tons of stuff cooking up. He has like a little studio built at his crib. We've been going crazy over there.
Do you
And
guys
then really,
storyboard your videos at all, or do you just like kind of spitball and then go record camera footage?
uh we just, run and gun, man. Yeah. So with my dogs, I worked with this homie Kian, and he actually wrote out a whole storyboard for me. You can find that one on YouTube as well. And that was like, that was an experience, bro. And that whole thing, if you watch that beginning to end, there's a story there. And I want to get more into that, but just been being lazy, bro. Not even gonna lie. Usually just like, here's a couple scenes, a couple outfits, pick a vibe, But so for this recent one that I did with Sammy Chan TV over a decade, Michael Levesque got down on that edit too. And that one we kind of, if you watch it from beginning to end, there's somewhat of like a story built in of me going to a record store, walking through town, hitting a record store, picking up vinyl, breaking out the beat pad. There's like some sort of like story plot like that. So like, that's kind of more so the direction I've gone in, more than like actually writing out a storyboard. It's like, oh, what kind of like, if a viewer's watching this, what could they pick up on that would be like a continued kind of trail? You know what I mean?
Breadcrumbs.
Exactly. So you're like, okay, I see him like getting the vinyl, oh, bars again. Oh, word, he's like breaking out the beat pad, more bars. You know what I mean?
Did you say Michael Levesque?
Yeah,
I talked to him a few times. I really like that guy too. He does some nice work.
yeah. Vigo Harris TV, man. I'm hoping to get a video in with him soon. He's actually doing the Sandbox ciphers. So that's it. I'm not going to get into too much detail because I don't think we're really trying to spill the beans, but there's like 15, maybe 20 artists on that. Yeah, it's just going to be some really, some heat is about to be unleashed, is all I'm going to say. Because I don't even think I'm supposed to tell too many details, but some
And
heat is about.
so I'll change the subject violently or go back. You got a nice write up in 7 days for your contraband disc here. Once
Oh,
again, it's Justin Boland here, and also they put that great picture of you in there, which was also awesome. But Justin had a great quote in here. He said, "You're too smart for your own good, but you're adept at playing dumb." Do you have any comments on that statement?
yeah. I mean, I think he kind of sees the way I maneuver. And, I feel like in hip hop, especially, there's all these gatekeepers. There's people that they want you to help them become successful. They want you to build up what they got going because it's already been going, whatever it may be. And, you have to really be able to kind of, like shrug things off, and it is what it is. I might, make these moves or whatever and benefit other people. And at the end of the day, no one's taking advantage of me. It's just we're all out here making moves, yada yada. But yeah, like you kind of just gotta like you gotta be humble. I feel that's kind of what that's saying. You gotta
In
just
the rap,
move. You can't like because people get offended, man. They want to try to block your opportunities. Especially if they see you like getting like full of yourself or whatever. If they see you start having success, like oh, you want to like come up here and do a video or something where we could make that happen. How about you get me on a show? It's like, bro, how about you, go fuck yourself. This isn't a negotiation. Like I would put you on a show, but now that you're trying to hold something over my head to give me, incentive, it's like, yeah, that's not how this is working, man. I just give, and that's the vibe I'm on, and people try to take advantage, and yeah, you gotta play it cool, man. I don't know if I necessarily play it dumb. I just definitely keep a lot to myself. You know what I
yeah, and
mean?
that comment I think was taken grossly out of context right there. I don't think he was calling you dumb. I think he was just saying maybe like cagey or coy a little bit, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. It's because I know how it is. I know, like, I definitely know how to just maneuver, bro, in life. And that's kind of like something that people comment on, like, where I like the way you move and do things. Like, yeah, I ain't got shit to say until we're like said and done. When it's all in the books, when the move has been made, and we're like, then I'll like make an announcement or I talk about something. But other than that, just all these silent moves. Like, I don't know, I guess I did promote History in the Making Volume 1 a little bit, but really that was like a pretty, kind of put that together and, didn't say too much about it. I wasn't like gassing it up and then I just let it go. And people are like, oh, damn, this is serious, like out of nowhere almost, even though it had been like spoken about.
Yeah, now you mentioned that earlier, and I kind of wasn't ready to talk about it yet, but that seems like a good spot, man. It looked like you had a pretty nice lineup of artists on there, from what I could see in the picture.
Yeah, bro. No, that's
My second guest ever, Eric McEdward, appeared to be on there.
yeah, man. I think he has at least like two, if not three, beats on that project. And yeah, man, I just kind of reached out to the homies, got in touch with people that I rock with and that I've seen in the scene, contributing. And, I just was like, yeah, I want to put together this mixtape. I had ran into the homie DJ TKO out in Maine, Portland, Maine, when me and the homies were out there opening up for Bazaar over the summer. And, we kind of ran into each other on the street after we performed. We're just talking, like, oh, let's, swap social media, yada, yada. And then later I see that he's hosting mixtapes. I'm like, yo, I've always wanted to get a mixtape done. Like, what's that all about? And he was, oh, you bring me like 18 tracks or something like that is what we settled on. So I just kind of went off on this mission where I, reached out to people. I made a couple posts being like, yo, if you're trying to get in on this, like, reach out, let's make it happen. And yeah, out of everyone that contributed, there were definitely tons of songs that I wish could have also been on there. But when you're trying to whittle it down to 18,
Yeah.
what feel like, this is going to be a continued thing. It's not just going to end, with one. So it's like there will be more. But yeah, just made decisions. I kind of picked songs based on like the vibe I was feeling too. I would like chill in the studio, kind of bounce through the tracks as I had them, listen to them. Like, okay, word, like, this is a good representation. A lot of them, some of them, like, oh man, like this mix just isn't there. Like this just doesn't, this isn't gonna bang. And I'm also trying to like be respectful of the time I'm getting from the homie DJ TKO and not be like sending him just tons of stuff and be, oh, you deal with it, bro. I'm like trying to, kind of pick some heat, pick some stuff that resonated with me. And that's how we ended up with History in the Making Volume 1.
Awesome. Is that up online anywhere, for sale anywhere? What's the deal?
Yeah, so that's only on Datpiff right now. I think it's going to end up being on live mixtape and maybe my mixtape too. I'm not putting it up on any streaming services because I don't want to mess with artists streaming or like royalties, basically. Things can get kind of complicated. And that was kind of an agreement that I had made with artists when I talked to them initially. I'm like, yo, like, give me a song. I'm going to put it on this mixtape. It's going to be free streaming, free download. No one's making money on it. I'm not out here like uploading your song on Spotify and getting paid off these streams, 0.004 cents or whatever it is. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's just trying to do like really like just, transparent business. And it's really beneficial for all of us because then we just big up each other. Everyone's sharing it. We literally got like 2,000 streams in the first 24 hours. That's all organic numbers from the platform that the homie has built up, including what we have going here amongst us all. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just dope, dude. 2,000 listens on a 18 song mixtape is like, that's solid. And we're hoping to just like, hoping it keeps rolling,
Oh, yeah. And boy, what was that other little open mic thing you just did the other day at Oasis? The or like I had to jet out early. I couldn't stay too late. Are you going to do any more of those gigs?
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea now. Like, so what that was yeah, Training Grounds hip hop open mic, and that was featuring the homie Dame Smoke, and he actually brought out his whole Family First music group record label from Albany, New York. I had met those guys over there a few weeks back and like peeped the showcase that they did, and I was like, yo, you guys got to come to Vermont. I already have this, show booked at the Oasis. It only makes sense that you come out and headline it, throw you on the flyer. And basically that was just an opportunity for artists to come out, network. We had artists come down from Montreal as well. So that's like 3 regions right there. Vermont, Albany, New York, Montreal, Canada, like all coming, you know, shaking hands, displaying their skill, get opportunity to, you know, kind of be in front of a different crowd. And so it's great for the artist, but not only that, all the homies that have been supporting me all year and coming out to these shows, they get like some fresh style, some fresh music to listen to, something brand new. You know, like everyone was so stoked about the show that Family First put on, bringing some brand new energy, something that we haven't heard in Vermont, you know, as much. And just fire. Yeah, and the homies that came out too, it just like blew my mind, bro.
And you've definitely like you perform around here a lot, so like it's got to be tricky to constantly just like keep, you know, unless you're putting out new shit constantly. It is nice to mix in some other people so that your crowd just, it's like if I did comedy shows, I just did the same 5 minute set every night and people would be like, yeah, it's funny. All right. Like do something else, you know, eventually they like you to mix it up. Although, boy, you got some classic bangers in there that seem to work pretty much every time.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing too, you know, trying to keep it fresh because, you know, like I did 3 songs that night. I opened up the night with Why Wait. You know, just like, yo, I'll break the ice for us. You know what I mean? And then kind of later the night, I did another 2. And it was like, that was fun for me, man. I got to just DJ, kind of handle that, handle the vibes, keep the party rocking. And yeah, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's been such a busy year too that I don't mind kind of like, you know, sitting in the back seat a little bit, letting other people shine, man, you know? And that's just kind of what it's all about to me, you know, trying to just big up people, especially if, you know, if you deserve it and you're not getting that shine, I'm trying to definitely assist, you know?
Word up. We could probably find you some people like that.
Yeah, man. Dude, you know, like there's so much talent. And I just love being surrounded by it.
Me too. And good weed.
Yeah, for real, bro. I know my mind kind of got gone on this interview a couple of times. Almost said side or some.
I won't tell anyone that we had to start it over one time.
Yeah, facts, bro. You know, when it starts off on a ramble, it's like, yo, 20 seconds in, can we just cut this? Can we start this over, bro?
No. If you were anyone else, I would have told you to fucking suck it up and push on.
Yeah.
Well, Wes, I'm out of. Oh, sorry, what was that?
I appreciate you, bro, giving me that opportunity to run it back.
You're welcome. I'm out of shit here, and I want to say first of all, fucking thanks, man. This has been I think we got like a solid almost hour in there. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your insight. And I always leave the last word for my guests. So if you got any more shout outs or shows coming up or shameless plugs, man, this is all you, buddy.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'll just say January 14th, collaborating with Russell Silver on a show. It's called Femc's Got Bars. It's a lineup of all female artists over at the Loading Dock in Littleton, New Hampshire. So that's going to be a dope ass time. Other than that, you know, just stay tuned for new music next year. Who knows what's going to happen?
Word up. I like those guys over there. Jason at the Loading Dock. He's a great guy.
Oh, big time, man. So glad to have made that connection and be out there doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, that's been rocking with us all year, showing up, showing out. Let's do it all over.
Word up. Dylan, piece of Dylan too. Yeah. Hell yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Wes. I'm gonna shut it down here and we'll get together and blaze one.
All right. Sounds good, bro. Give me a shout.
Good luck with everything, man. Peace.